Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful week like always. Today I am continuing with my Kate Bush discography journey, and we made it to her fourth studio album from 1982 called The Dreaming. Now, let me tell you, you guys have been hyping up this album for as long as I can remember, for months and months and months. I have been so giddy and so excited to sit down and listen to this album for the first time, and today I finally get to do it. I want to know what the hype's about. You guys have been hyping up this album, and I want to know why. Just like her Hounds of Love album, which I did already a long time ago, it was my very first Kate Bush video. I want to know what this album is all about and why you guys are so excited about it. So, yes, I will be listening to The Dreaming, and this is my very first listen album review video of 2021. Happy New Year. So I am also excited to start doing these videos once again for you guys. Now it does say here that a public poll conducted by NPR ranked The Dreaming as the 24th greatest album ever made by a female artist, and Slant magazine listed the album at number 71 on its list of best albums of the 1980s. It is also included in the book 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die, the Mojo Top 50 Eccentric Albums of All Time list, and the Word magazine's Great Underrated Albums of Our Time list. And also, I'm not done yet, musicians such as Björk and Big Boy have cited The Dreaming as one of their favorite albums of all time. Now, I am looking at the track list, and there are 10 tracks. I haven't heard any of the songs yet, but like always, if I start listening to a song and it sounds familiar, I'll let you guys know. And the album is 43 minutes. So you know what? Enough talking. I'm just so damn excited. So damn excited to listen to this album. Okay, track number 1, Sat in Your Lap. Alrighty, that was track number 1, Sat in Your Lap, and I think the first step for me in trying to understand the song is obviously figuring out what the lyrics mean, which for any Kate Bush album, it's always going to be an odyssey. It's always so difficult to decipher her lyrics, so I'm not going to have any better luck on this album, I imagine. I see the people working and see it working for them, and so I want to join in, but then I find it hurts me. Okay. Some say that knowledge is something sat in your lap. Some say that knowledge is something that you never have. I see the people happy, so can it happen for me? Because when I am unhappy, there's nothing that can move me. She says she wants to be a lawyer, I want to be a scholar, but I really can't be bothered. Just give it quick, give me it. Now, I do feel like she's singing about wanting something or wanting to attain something that she can't have, or wanting to attain something that everyone else has. And when she does get it, and she does attain it, it's not the same as what everyone else has. I also feel like she might be singing about how knowledge and just how certain things fall into the laps of people. It just comes to them naturally. Knowledge, whatever it is that you see in someone else and that you yourself want, for some people, it's so easy for them. It just falls in their lap. It comes so naturally. Whereas for other people, they have to work for it, and sometimes they never achieve it. So I don't know, I feel like she might be singing about that. Some say that heaven is hell, and some say that hell is heaven. And that reminds me of the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So one man's personal struggle and hell could be somebody else's heaven, and somebody else's heaven and joy could be somebody else's hell. She could also be saying how she does want to attain these certain things, like she wants to be a lawyer, I want to be a scholar, but she really can't be bothered because she doesn't want to put in the work. It's a lot of money, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, so why do it? And this also goes back to how she says, I want the answers quickly, but I don't have no energy. I hold a cup of wisdom, but there's nothing within. So that's my own personal interpretation of the song. So now I'm actually going to find out what the song actually means. It says here that the lyrics of the song deal with humanity's endless search for knowledge, which is often limited by unwillingness to devote the effort necessary to attain it. Okay, so I was kind of right. So that kind of goes back to what I was saying, how everybody wants to be smart, everybody wants the nice things in life, but people don't want to put in the time and effort to attain those things because it takes too much work. But for some people, it just falls in their lap and it comes so naturally to them. I get it now! Let me also say that I really enjoyed the production on this track. It was very quirky. It was a little odd in my opinion, but this is Kate Bush we're talking about, so that's to be expected. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great song. One of my favorite parts of the song when it comes to the production are the drums. I really enjoyed listening to the drums on this track. So now we're gonna move on to track number 2. There goes a tenor.
Okay, remember. Okay, remember. To get into it and get out, the sense of adventure. My words made of what am I gonna say? Mustn't give everything away. We got the job size. You are all that he is just like that. He's happy and blue. Covered in rubble, one of the rabble needs mommy.
Okay, that was track number 2, and there goes a tenor, and once again, a very interesting song from Kate Bush. Another song where I have no idea what she's talking about, so I have to analyze the lyrics once again, which I actually enjoy doing this. Okay, remember that we have just allowed half an hour to get in, do it, and get out. The sense of adventure is changing to danger. The signal has been given. I go in, the crime begins. Okay. My excitement turns into fright. So she is carrying out this crime. I don't know if she's doing it by herself or with a partner. Originally, she was excited, but now she's becoming frightened. The signal has been given. I go in, the crime begins. The sense of adventure is changing to danger. So it looks like she's breaking into this shop. The shop's shut for business. The lookout has parked the car, but kept the engine running. So we have a getaway car. Oh, this is getting exciting. 3 beeps means trouble's coming. I hope you remember. So it looks like she is committing a crime by breaking into this store, this business, and she's working with a couple partners. Both my partners act like actors. You are Bogart, he is George Raft. That leaves Cagney and me. What about Edward G? I don't know who those people are. You blow the safe up. Oh my god. This is just escalating. They're blowing things up. I mean, they're desperate for that money. Or jewels. I don't know what they're trying to steal. Then all I know is I wake up covered in rubble. I do feel like the lyrics in this song are pretty straightforward. I just told you what I thought was happening just from reading the lyrics. Now, I also don't know who this George Raft character is, and it says here that George Raft was an American film actor and dancer identified with portrayals of gangsters and crime melodramas of the 1930s and the 1940s. Portrayals of gangsters and crime. It makes sense now. She also references a couple other film actors, I believe, like Edward G., who, again, I've never heard of him before, but he's best remembered for his tough guy roles as gangsters in such films as Little Caesar and Key Largo. So, okay, well, she's done this before where she's referenced movies and actors on her other albums. Not only does Kate Bush have a habit of referencing movies and actors and film in general, but she also references books and literary works as well in her songs from her albums in the past. In particular, her first three albums. Now, it does say here that the song's lyrics are about a bungled bank robbery as told by a fearful and paranoid perpetrator. Towards the end of the song, the lyrics and tone take on a dreamlike state, which is reflected in the music video, which I haven't seen. That's another interesting point. There were times during the song where I felt like I was in a dream. It was very euphoric, and I felt like I was drifting, and I really liked those moments in particular during the song. Now, this is my own personal opinion, but I do feel like this track, There Goes a Tenor, is a great continuation of track number one, where track number one, she's singing about how we don't want to work for the nice things in life and how we just want things to come to us, knowledge and money and what have you. We just want it to fall into our laps. And these people are robbing a bank. They don't want to work for their money, so they want to steal money. So I am picking up an interesting theme on the album so far. I mean, this is my own interpretation of the lyrics and what's happening, so I don't know. This is just how I'm interpreting the music so far. I will also say that I love the use of the piano in these songs so far, tracks number 1 and 2. I think it's great. This is definitely making me want to watch her music videos even more. So once I'm done listening to all of her albums, I'm hoping sometime this year, I will start watching her music videos. I have already watched and did a video for her Hounds of Love music videos, but all her other ones I haven't watched yet, so that's definitely on my list of things to do. So now we're gonna move on to track number 3, Pull Out the Pin.
Just as we hit the beat, I've never been so happy to be alive. You're living on your belly and the enemy is city blood. Pulling on the pin. Pull out, pull out, pulling on the pin. Pull out the pin. Just one thing, me or him. He's big and pink and not like me. He sees no light, feeling alive. He's driving by with so in me. Just one thing, me or him.
Okay, that was track number 3, Pull Out the Pin, and let me just say I am loving the production on this album. It's so unique sounding, and I always just close my eyes when I listen to these songs. I just let the production take over my senses, and I end up hearing some really interesting sounds, and it kind of just takes me somewhere, and I really like that. Obviously, I feel like she's singing about, I mean, this is my own personal opinion, but pull out the pin. The first thing that came to mind was a grenade. And I also heard helicopter propellers in the production. And I heard the sounds of nature, like being in the forest. So I was getting, I don't know, maybe she's alluding to a war. I don't know which war, but, pulling out the pin, grenades, and then the helicopter propellers. And I don't know, I was just getting war vibes. I've never been so happy to be alive. Only 7 miles behind, you could smell the child, the smell of the front lines survival. Just one thing in it, me or him. I love life. Pull out the pin. Just one thing in it, me or him. I love life. I had not seen his face till I'm only feet away, unbeknown to my prey. I look in American eyes. I see little life. See little wife. He strike a violence up in me. Throughout the song, she does keep saying, I love life, I love life, I love life. But to me, what was quite eerie was how she sang the lyrics, I love life. It was like she was in pain. It was like she was just screaming it out to the world. She was in agony. I love life. And the way she was saying and singing those words, she was just screaming them out. It was a little eerie to me. It does say here that the lyrics of the song was based on a documentary about the war in Vietnam and describes soldiers of the Viet Cong literally sniffing out their American opponents before killing them. Now, I know absolutely nothing about the Vietnam War. I know that's really sad to say. It's obviously something I need to educate myself on and to research. There are quite a few documentaries on TV and on streaming services that I should probably watch. I could definitely delve a lot further into the song. There's this huge explanation behind the meaning of the lyrics, but I probably won't get too much into it because it is a lot. Just like any other Kate Bush album, I'm just finding the listening experience to be very unique. Once again, just like her prior 3 albums, her first 3 albums, and also How's the Love, this is just another very unique sounding Kate Bush album when it comes to not just the production, but the lyrics as well. I am finding the lyrics on this album to be a teeny tiny bit easier to follow than some of her other albums, but that's not saying much because I'm still struggling with finding the meanings behind these songs, but I'm just finding it a bit easier to really grasp what these songs are about on this album compared to some of her other albums. So now let's move on to track number 4, Suspended in Gaffa.
Out in the garden, there's hot for the heaven, and we're only bluffing. He's gonna wonder where to get out of it. She's an excuse and go with this one talking. I don't know why I cry. The mind's suspended in nothing. I pull up the plug and say thank you.
Alrighty, that was track number 4, Suspended in Gaffa. Now, first and foremost, I have to look up what Gaffa is because I have no idea. In the song, she does say, am I suspended in Gaffa? Not until I'm ready for you. Can I have it all? Now, I'm not really finding a clear definition of Gaffa, but it does say here that apparently it's the team boss, the guy in charge of a crew. That's what I found on Urban Dictionary. Urban Dictionary, yes, we've come to that point. I'm trying to, I don't know, I'm not finding an actual definition of the word. Can I just say that I love the use of the piano in these songs? I think I might have said that already. Forgive me if I did, but I love the piano in these songs. I like how it's utilized. She does say, out in the garden, there's half of a heaven, and we're only bluffing. We're not ones for busting through walls. But they've told us, unless we can prove that we're doing it, we can't have it all. I want it all. Suddenly my feet are feet of mud. It all goes slow-mo. I don't know why I'm crying. Am I suspended in Gaffa? Not until I'm ready for you. Can I have it all? I try to get nearer, but as it gets clearer, there's something appears in the way. It's a plank in my eye with a camel who's trying to get through it. Am I doing it? I don't know. What is this camel? A plank in my eye with a camel who's trying to get through it. Why is there a camel? So it does seem like, I mean, I have no idea. I'm just gonna try and interpret the song as best I can. It looks like, I don't know, maybe she's trapped somewhere. And there's these walls around her. And she needs to prove herself to this person. We're not ones for busting through walls. Or maybe the walls are a metaphor for like busting through your obstacles in life. But they've told us unless we can prove that we're doing it, we can't have it all. So unless you break through these walls, you can't have it all. If you break through the walls, you can have it all, and she wants it all. And then she says she tries to get nearer, but as it gets clearer, there's something that peers in her way, and there's a plank in her eye. So there's something in the way. She's trying to move forward to this thing she wants, but there's something in the way now. And then there's a camel. So I don't know, that's kind of how I'm interpreting the song. I just don't know why she's saying, am I suspended in Gaffa? I still don't really know what this song means. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I think this is the most excited I've been so far in this video to find out what the actual meaning of a song is. So it says here that the song lyrics are about seeing something one really wants, God in this case, the not being able to see it or experience it ever again. The Gaffa of the title and chorus refers to, it refers to gaffer tape. What's gaffer tape? Why? Oh, okay, wait. That did come up. When I looked up Gaffa in Google, it did say gaffer tape, but like I just ignored that. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. I'm just a hot mess right now. It also says gaffer. Why didn't this come up? Okay, I'm just so confused. Gaffer is also, a chief lighting technician in filmmaking. Suspended in Gaffa, so she's suspended by the Gaffa tape. I know there are a lot of you right now rolling your eyes and making fun of me and probably thinking I'm an idiot, which is completely fine, but this is new for me. I don't know what gaffer is, and I'm just struggling with the word right now. Okay, so let's go back to the meaning behind the song. The song lyrics are about seeing something one really wants, God in this case, and not being able to see it or experience it ever again. The gaffa of the title and chorus refers to gaffer tape, the strong matte black tape used by technicians in the film and concert industries. Okay, so I'm kind of connecting the dots now. The idea of the song is that by being given a glimpse of God, something that we dearly want, but being told that unless we work for it, we will never see it again, and even then, we might not be worthy of it. Of course, everybody wants the reward without the toil, so people try to find a way out of the hard work, still hoping to claim the prize, but such is not the case. This is the continuation of the theme that we started on track number 1, sat in your lap, how we want things in life. We want knowledge, we want all the nice things, but people don't want to work for it. That's kind of what I'm getting out of the album so far, one of the themes, and that also bleeds into track number 2, There Goes a Tenor, how these people are robbing a bank or a store and they don't want to work for nice things or money, they just want to steal it and rob banks for it. Guys, we're only 4 tracks into the album and I'm already exhausted. But anyway, let's move on to Leave It Open. Okay, that was track number 5, Leave It Open. And let me just say, another one of my favorite aspects of the album are, I don't know, their tribal sounds, like the drums and also the male voices I'm hearing in some of these songs. It's like chanted. I'm really enjoying that. With my ego in my gut, my babbling mouth would wash it up. But now I've started learning how I keep it shut. My door was never locked until one day a trigger came, cocking, but now I've started learning how I keep it shut. And then she repeats over and over again, harm isn't us, harm isn't us, but power to arm. Harm isn't us, but power to arm. And then she also says, I kept it in a cage, watched it weeping, but I made it stay. But now I've started learning how. I leave it open. I leave it open. And then at the very end of the song, she keeps repeating, we let the weirdness in. We let the weirdness in. So I'm assuming she's singing about something that was initially closed. My babbling mouth would wash it up with my ego and my gut, but now I started learning how I keep it shut. So she's learned how to keep it shut. Her mouth, her babbling mouth. So I don't know, maybe she's using, I mean, she could be singing about so many things, many different metaphors, her personality, her opinions, her mouth, anything, and how she initially didn't lock it. She would keep it shut, but she wouldn't lock it. Narrow mind would persecute it, die a little to get to it, but now I started learning how. I leave it open. So now she leaves it open, she doesn't close it, she doesn't lock it. So I don't know, maybe she's singing about herself, her personality, her opinions, her thoughts. Maybe she doesn't keep them locked up. She leaves them open now. We let the weirdness in. So I don't know, maybe she's just singing about being yourself. Harm isn't us, leave it open. So just leave your personality out there, your opinions, your thoughts. Don't leave it shut. I kept it in a cage, watched it weeping, but I made it stay. Perhaps she's saying don't leave things caged up inside, because when she did that, she watched it weep. Maybe she kept things inside of her, things she should have, and she should have just expressed herself and let it out. I don't know, she could be singing about that. Now, when it comes to the actual meaning of the song, she does say that this song is about being open and shut to stimuli at the right times. Often we have closed minds and open mouths, when perhaps we should have open minds and shut mouths. I mean, I can think of a few people who should be listening to this song and taking Kate Bush's advice of learning how, at the right time, to keep our mouth shut and our minds open. Narrow mind would persecute it. So people who are very narrow-minded tend to run their mouths and they don't think. They don't open up their minds. They're not open-minded people. They're not open to new ideas and new perspectives. They're just set in their ways and their perspectives and their opinions, and they just run their mouths without listening to somebody else who might have a different opinion, and they're not open-minded to new things and new people, new whatever. So I guess what she's trying to say is just be open-minded to other people, other ideas, and learn when to keep your mouth shut and when to open your mind to new ideas and perspectives and people. Just let the weirdness in. We let the weirdness in. So now we're gonna move on to track number 6, The Dreaming. Okay, that was track number 6, The Dreaming, and this was a very interesting song to listen to, just like the rest of the album. But this one in particular, the production was honestly the production was amazing on this song. It was it was very tribal, the chanting and um, I enjoyed it. Many an Aborigines mistaken for a tree till you hear him on the motorway and the tree begin to breathe. See the light ram through the gaps in the land. The civilized keep alive the territorial war. See the light ram through the gaps in the land. Erase the race that claim the place and say we dig for ore. I kind of have an inkling as to what the song might be about. Many an Aborigines mistaken for a tree, so obviously I feel like she's singing about Aboriginal people and how the white man came into their land and stole the land, claimed it for their own. It does say here that the song is about the destruction of Aboriginal homelands by white Australians in their quest for weapons grade uranium. And it's interesting because we do hear the tribal vocals, the tribal sounds in the production, and also the drums, the chanting, not just on this track, but in the other tracks as well on the album. So now I'm kind of picking up on another theme of the album. The very how do I explain it? It's obviously tribal, like I've said many times, but there's something very earthy about it and very what's the word? I can't think of the word right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, I just want to say that going into this album, I wasn't expecting this. I don't know what I was expecting. It's Kate Bush, so she always surprises me, but I wasn't expecting this, and I can see why Björk chose this as one of her favorite albums. And obviously, I mean, I hear a lot of Björk in this, so obviously Björk was heavily influenced by Kate Bush. Now, in talking about the song, Kate Bush said, "The Aboriginals are not alone in being pushed out of their land by modern man, by their diseases, or for their own strange reasons. It is very sad to think they might all die. The dreaming is the time for Aboriginals, when humans took the form of animals, when spirits were free to roam, and in this song, as the civilized begin to dominate, the original ones dream of the dream time." Now, in regards to the dream time, she says, "I knew all about this time they call dream time, when animals and humans take the same form. It's this big religious time when all these incredible things happen. The other word for it is the dreaming. I looked at that written down and thought, yeah." So, who knew? I would have had no idea that's why she named the song and the album The Dreaming. I mean, wow. But now let's move on to track number 7, Night of the Swallow.
The night doesn't like it. Looks just like your face on the moon. It's funny how even now you're laughing. If you go, I'm alone now, and they'll hit you off when you touch the ground. I'll just violent roots. The higher grade, no names mentioned. Tonight's the night of the fight. Before you know, I'll be over the board tonight. With the higher grade, no names mentioned. Tonight's the night of the
Okay, that was track number 7, Night of the Swallow, and I enjoyed listening to the song, in particular the production. It was very folk sounding. The night doesn't like it, looks just like your face on the moon to me, and I won't let you do what you want to do. It's funny how, even now, you're laughing. I won't let you do it. And then she goes on to say, with a hired plane and no names mentioned, tonight's the night of the flight. Before you know, I'll be over the water like a swallow. There's no risk. I'll whisk them up in no moonlight, and though pigs can fly, they'll never find me posing as the night, and I'm home before the morning. Now, obviously, the swallow is a bird, and it's found all over the world on all continents, including occasionally in Antarctica. And it's highly adapted to aerial feeding. They have a distinctive appearance. She's obviously using the swallow as some sort of metaphor. Give me something to show for my miserable life, something to take. Would you break even my wings like a swallow? It does say here that the lyrics concern a smuggler planning his next journey. Bush takes on the role of his lover, who begs him not to go. The song ends with the smuggler speaking in defiance. Oh. And when talking about the song, Kate Bush said, a lot of men do begin to feel very trapped in their relationships, and I think in some situations it is because the female is so scared, perhaps of her insecurity, that she needs to hang on to him completely. And in the song, she wants to control him, and because he wants to do something that she doesn't want him to, she feels that he is going away. And what I just read right there is something I imagine is very common in relationships. So now let's move on to track number 8, All the Love.
First time I died was in the arms of good friends of mine. They kiss me with the tears. To love us only tragedy allows the release of love and grief. Never normally seen. I needed you to love me too. I wait for you. All the love, all the love, all the love we could give her. To love me too. I wait for you. All the love, all the love.
Okay, that was track number 8, All the Love, and I actually really enjoyed this track. It was very haunted. I think that's the best word to use to describe this song. It's very haunted, and I just closed my eyes. I was just swayed. It was, I don't know, something very eerie yet very beautiful and also sad as well. The first time I died was in the arms of good friends of mine. They kissed me with tears. They hadn't been near me for years. So why do it now when I won't be around? I'm going out. We needed you to love us too. We wait for your move. Only tragedy allows the release of love and grief never normally seen. I don't want to let them see me weep. I don't want to let them see me weak. But I know I have shown that I stand at the gates alone. I think this song really does strike a chord with me because there is someone very close to me in my life right now who is struggling when it comes to their health. They were recently diagnosed with something quite serious, and we don't know how much time is left. So just listening to the song and reading the lyrics, It's a little emotional for me. And when talking about the song, Kate Bush did say, although we are often surrounded by people and friends, we are all ultimately alone, and I feel sure everyone feels lonely at some time in their life. I wanted to write about feeling alone and how having to hide emotions away or being too scared to show love can lead to being alone as well. There are just times when you can't cope and you just don't feel you can talk to anyone. I go and find a bathroom, a toilet, or an empty room just to sit and let it out and try to put it all together in my mind. Then I go back and face it all again. And then she also goes on to say, I think it's sad how we forget to tell people we love that we do love them. I do feel lonely sometimes, just like everyone else, not just because of this pandemic and not being able to go out with friends and family, not being able to interact with people, but just generally in my everyday life, I do feel lonely at times, and I do know a lot of people who are like that as well, unfortunately. Also, it really struck a chord with me when she said, I think it's sad how we forget to tell people we love that we do love them, because it's, we just assume that the people we love are going to be with us tomorrow, next week. There might come a day where they won't be. Obviously, they won't be. They won't be here forever. But there might come a day where you'll get a phone call and say so and so died, and you weren't given that chance to tell that person how much you really love them. And this person right now in my life, who's very close to me, they were recently diagnosed with cancer, and we don't know how much time is left. I'm just making it a point to tell them as much as possible how much I love them, because I do realize there will come a time in the next few months where they will pass on and they will no longer be here, and I will no longer be able to tell them that I love them. But hopefully they do realize how much I do love them, and I don't need to tell them that every time I see them. Hopefully they just know that I do love them. And I'm not going to dig further into it. I'm not going to tell you guys who it is, this person I'm talking about, because I'm just going to start bawling my eyes out. So we're just going to move on to the next song. So now let's move on to track number 9, Houdini.
I wait at the table, hold hands with weeping strangers, wait for you. With a kiss, I pause the key and feel your tongue teasing and receiving. Your spit still on my lips. Him and I in the room to prove you are with us too. He's using code that only you and I know. Alive! The only thing in my mind. We call you from the water.
Okay, that was track number 9, Houdini, and oh my god, this was very interesting. Wow. That part where she was using that demonic, aggressive voice when she was saying, with your life, the only thing in my mind, we pull you from the water. Houdini. Now, obviously, when I read the title of the track, I was thinking of Harry Houdini, who is the Hungarian-born American illusionist and stunt performer. Now, when it comes to the song and the meaning behind it, it says that the song was inspired by Harry Houdini, the escape artist, who became known as the Handcuff King. Oh, yeah. I need to look him up on YouTube. I haven't really watched Houdini before. I've heard of him many times, but I don't really know his act. I don't really know how he performs, so I definitely need to look him up on YouTube. In the song, the keys to his chains were passed on to him by his wife during a kiss. This scene is actually depicted on the album artwork for The Dreaming. Oh, that's what it is. I'm glad I read that. And it says here, in January 1929, it was reported in the Detroit News that Bess, his wife, had actually succeeded in contacting Houdini on the other side. So when Houdini died, she successfully contacted him, apparently. Since Houdini was a spirited debunker of spiritualist frauds during his lifetime, he had devised a code Rosabelle believed to ensure she knew, his wife, that it really was him. Oh, okay. She later came to believe that the code had been betrayed and she had been tricked. The story fascinated Kate so much that she decided to write a song about it. It was a very interesting song. And I really do apologize if it feels like I'm rushing through this last half of the album, but I started recording this video quite late in the day, and because it's January, the sun still sets quite early, and I am losing daylight, and I don't want the quality of this video to be crap. I'm using my ring light, so that's why I'm kind of pushing through this last half of the album a bit faster than I initially would, but gotta do what I gotta do. Anyway, we have come to the end of the album, track number 10, Get Out of My House. Okay, that was track number 10, Get Out of My House, and wow. I won't lie, I was a little disturbed in parts. It was scary actually. In particular, the part where she was saying, get out of my house, in that very aggressive voice once again. It was very deranged, and it was reminding me of a ghost. It was reminding me of someone who maybe passed on inside a house and they come back as a ghost to haunt the house, and the house is empty, it's abandoned, and then a stranger buys the house, or a stranger enters the house, and the ghost yells, "Get out of my house! Get out of my house!" And the person who entered the house is so freaked out they just run away. And you hear stories about that, like ghost stories about hearing ghosts screaming, "Get out of my house!" I mean, could you imagine moving into a house and then late at night hearing a voice yelling, "Get out of my house"? I don't know if that's like what she was trying to do. I have to actually find out the true meaning behind the song, but it was just reminding me of that. When you left, the door was slamming. You paused in the doorway, slamming, as though a thought stole you away, slamming. I watched the world pull you away, slamming. So I run into the hall, lock it, into the corridor, lock it. There's a door in the house, slamming. I hear the lift descending, slamming. I hear it hit the landing, slamming. See the hackles on the cat, standing. It almost feels like, just from reading the lyrics, it's like she's being chased by this ghost or something, and she's trying to get away from it, which is a very spooky concept. That's probably not what is happening in the song. It's just my interpretation. When talking about the song, Kate Bush said, "The Shining is the only book I've read that has frightened me. While reading it, I swamped around in its snowy imagery." Ooh, I like that. And avoided visiting certain floors of the big, cold hotel, empty for the winter. As an alien, the movie, the central characters are isolated miles or light years away from anyone or anything, but there is something in the place with them. They're not sure what, but it isn't very nice. Okay, so I was kind of right. It's a very spooky song. It's a very scary song. It's like the type of song you play during Halloween. I liked it. I like songs like that. I like horror movies. I like scary movies. I haven't read the book, The Shining, but I've seen the movie. I love it like so many people. Also, Alien. I love Alien so much. The setting of this song continues the theme. The house, which is really a human being. Oh, so the house is actually a human being, has been shut up, locked, and bolted to stop any outside forces from entering. The person has been hurt and has decided to keep everybody out. Okay. Oh. I mean, I could keep going on and on and on about the song. There's quite a bit more analysis here, but wow. I mean, this album, this whole album, I didn't know what to expect, and I was pleasantly surprised. This is definitely unlike any other Kate Bush album I've listened to, and I really don't know what to make of it, and I really do apologize, but this is like the very first time ever during one of these videos where I can't even wrap my head around the album. I don't really have an opinion for you guys. Like, I don't know how I feel about this album. I know I liked it, but this is the very first time where I'm a little speechless. I definitely have to go back and listen to this album again, but I don't know what to say about this album other than it was it was so strange, but it was so I can't even articulate what I want to say. Obviously, one of the themes of the album that I picked up on early was the theme of wanting something, knowledge, money, whatever it is. Maybe it was something you had before and it was taken away from you. You see something you want, but you don't want to put in the work to get it. You just want it to come to you naturally. You just want it to fall in your lap. You don't want to put in the work and effort to attain it. Or there are obstacles in front of you, blocking you, and you don't want to knock down the walls to get it because it's too much work, so on and so forth. So that's one of the themes of the album, I believe. She also plays around with crime and mobsters and robbing a bank or a store, which I found really interesting. The production of this album was something that I wasn't expecting even from a Kate Bush album. It was quite tribal in parts with the chanting and the drums. I also really liked the use of the piano in a few of the songs as well. Her voice also, I mean, it's Kate Bush. Her voice sounded great, and I heard voices from Kate Bush on this album that I haven't heard before from Kate Bush. At times, her voice was very aggressive and very strange, almost like it was possessed, and she was very passionate and raw. It was very demented. I just want to say that this is a great piece of artistic work from a recording artist. I mean, you don't hear albums like this from anybody. I mean, I don't know, I haven't heard many albums in my lifetime, but this is definitely a very unique album for me to listen to, and I have no words. I can't articulate how I feel about this album. It was just so unique, and I'll have to come back to you. Maybe when I rank her albums, I'll go further into detail as to how I feel about the album and my opinions, but this is the very first time ever in one of these videos where I can't even really explain to you how I feel about this album. It was very interesting, it was very bizarre, and I wasn't expecting to read some of the things that I did. Also the title of the album and the song The Dreaming, I wasn't expecting it to mean what it did when it came to referencing Aboriginals, and The Dreaming. Also, just so many other aspects of the album as well, I just wasn't expecting. Like the album artwork, I wasn't expecting the album artwork to reference Houdini. So what did you guys think of the album? What did you think of it when you heard it for the very first time? And what do you think of it today, 38 years later? To me, it was an experience. It was an experience. I can see why you guys were hyping up this album as much as you did. Um, it was interesting. Upon its release, The Dreaming met mixed critical reception. Many were baffled by the unconventional techniques and dense soundscapes Bush had employed. Some people describe the album as very weird. She's obviously tried to become less commercial. I mean, this album was weird. It freaked me out a couple times, and it's Kate Bush. I mean, you don't hear albums like this from artists. So officially, I think that's all I wanted to say on the album. And in my next Kate Bush video, we'll be moving on to The Sensual World from 1989. I already listened to Hounds of Love on camera for you guys. That was my very first Kate Bush video, so check out that video if you want. And yeah, we'll be moving on to The Sensual World in my next Kate Bush video from 1989. So thanks for watching, guys. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, you can message me, you can tell me other artists I should check out. I'm open to any artists from any decade. You can find me on Apple Music, you can check out my playlist, and so on and so forth. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. I need to take a break. I need to collapse on my couch. I'm exhausted. I'm always exhausted after listening to a Björk or Kate Bush album. It's a lot. So take care, guys. Bye.